This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Welcome to the next episode of the Essential Leadership Cycle podcast. I'm your host and intentional leader, Rob Fisher, coming to you from the ArrowHP.com studios, the Fit Center for Excellence, here in Concord, North Carolina. I got notified recently that a great professional colleague had passed suddenly. Of course, I was immediately sad and started thinking about his family and friends and about the impact on them. I also thought about all the people he had touched as a professional and all of those people that he had touched as a person. You know, it really made me smile, for as sad as his passing is, his impact, his legacy is huge. I don't want to mention who he is out of respect for his family and privacy. Let's just say he was a big person in the human performance and human organizational performance world. Then I started thinking about how we became friends and colleagues. We were introduced like most professionals are, and we bonded over the silliest thing, Whataburger. But while our love for Whataburger, and if you haven't been to one, it's a great Texas hamburger tradition, the conversations of how much we love that place always led to other, deeper talks about either life or work. We spent many hours sitting at Whataburgers over the years and over the states, because everywhere we met, we would try to find one. But the discussions, the discussions we had. So much time spent exploring our vision and values, individually and for our organizations, finding out just how much we had in common, even though we had huge diversity in our backgrounds. So much time spent picking each other's brains. We settled into some pretty well-defined roles, and soon we were talking when there was no Whataburger around. Routine phone calls, advice, just talking to catch up. It was wonderful. I will miss that, and I will certainly miss him. But today I realized as I was doing my morning reflection that most of our best professional or personal relationships have followed the essential leadership cycle, whether we knew it at the time or not. The people that mean the most to us in our lives and careers, we spend the time to be self-aware. What do I do to be in this relationship? What do I know or not know? What things should I do or not do? What do I bring to the table? And team aware. Where do we fit in this relationship? Each of us. What do I like and enjoy about this person? How can I discover our commonalities and diversity? We invest time in discovering whether we have a shared vision, value, mission, goals in life and in our organizations. When our partnership started with Equilibria over 5 years ago, it was originally discovered through self and team awareness of the organization's leaders, myself and Lewis Sr. It was determined very early that we could work together, collaborate, and ultimately share in each other's technologies and families. In discovering our company and family vision and values, we very quickly concluded there was so much commonality in what we did, how we approached things, our relationships, that we had to work together. Our roles and processes came easily after that. It rapidly became more than a partnership or collaboration. It turned into a valued friendship, just as it did with my friend who passed. The essential leadership cycle, or most business models for that matter, are typically seen as methods or tools that are given to us or sometimes pushed on us by our bosses in business, with no obvious or particular ties to the real world, our families, friends, or people outside of the organization. Once I realized the power of intentionally using the essential leadership cycle in all personal relationships, I realized two things. First, it's a great way to process information in a way that intentionally discovers commonality and diversity. And second, almost every relationship in which I use the essential leadership cycle, those relationships are enhanced because of following the cycle. Certainly not all are perfect. Not all turn out the way you want to or wish they would, but at least you gave it a shot by following the cycle with intentionality. So what can you do? Seek to find something in common with a teammate, boss, employee, colleague, or new person that you meet. Self and team awareness. Learn those commonalities and shared vision and values, why you each like a certain particular thing. You'll probably set up a flow of communication, and then each of you will play into those roles in the growth of your relationship. Second, use personal intervention to manage your personality tendencies, strengths, and potential limiters. And then be intentional about following the cycle. If you do this, your personal and professional relationships will be more trusting, more diverse, with a higher level of commitment to each other and the organization. Until next time, this has been your host, Rob Fisher. Thanks for listening, and remember, intentional leadership starts with you.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.